We have today, at this episode, three insightful voices that we would like to host them.
We first came here, we were only going to stay here for a few years, but it ended up being home.
You know, the UAE is my home and I'm, inshallah here to stay.
We traveled to Abu Dhabi, we went to Sharjah.
We should go to Dubai. And I was like, what's a Dubai? What's that?
And she said, I insisted and I came over here. And then she said, after a year of being here, I brought everybody here.
UAE may be one of the top trending countries in the world. There is that misconception that's still there.
I don't think UAE is a place where you can fake it till you make it, It's like you have to be passionate.
Which one of you speaks Arabic?
Shway, Yani.
I try. I try.
Hi there. My name is Mohammed Khamis. I would like to welcome you all to Mohammed bin Rashid Library under the program called Library Dialogues. And on this podcast, which called Voices from UAE, we have today, at this episode, three insightful voices that we would like to host them. We have Miss Aliki Christina.
Nice to meet you.
And Mr. Joseph Barnett.
Pleasure being here.
And Mr. William Walker.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
On this podcast, we will discover what it truly means to call the UAE home. And together we will explore the expatriate experience, the vibrant mix of cultures influencing everyday life, and the dreams and challenges that shape the path ahead. It's time to uncover the human stories behind the skyline. Hello, everyone, again. I would love to let you introduce yourself to our listener a bit. So I think the ladies first. Salik, you are the only lady, so we will start with you always.
So, my name is Christina. I'm a nutritionist, and I'm studying to be a naturopathic doctor. I came to the UAE almost 18 years ago. Wow. And I'm Greek, but I was born and raised in Germany. So I've always been an expat in my life. I've been an expat in Germany, and now I'm here. But there are very different experiences, of course.
But I guess being expat in Germany is different from being expat in United Arab Emirates.
Very.
That's good. So, Joseph?
So my name is Joseph. I am a founder of an edtech platform that's based here in Dubai. And I moved here 9 years ago with my wife and children. And coming out of Dallas, Texas, originally from Louisiana, but we came from Dallas, Texas. And we first came here, we were only going to stay here for a few years, but it ended up being home. So, yeah. Great.
What about you, Mr. Walker?
So I've lived here for 15 years. I came over like many other expats for, with that 2-year, 3-year vision, in mind, and the UAE stole my heart. And I'm not trying to obviously, say anything that obviously is scripted, but it really did. And obviously the UAE and the visionary leadership of Baba Zayed and the rest of the leaders in the UAE, it's incredibly inspiring to me and allows me to want to contribute to their vision. And, alongside that, I've managed to set up, 1, 2, multiple businesses over here. And it's obviously the land of opportunity. And my 3 young children were born over here. So, the UAE is my home and I'm, inshallah here to stay. So it's,
inshallah. Interesting. But I always wonder, and always when I see people like you, I want to know what was the first spark? What was the thing that really says, going to go to United Arab Emirates and live there? I mean, I can't find it hard for people from Europe and America to think of anywhere else. I mean, especially if it's an Arab country, it's a different culture. It's totally different. It's like, going to Wonderland. Okay. Thousands Nights and Nights. So what was the spark really? I mean, I know that all of you have heard obviously about Dubai before in your countries. Dubai is very famous, United Arab Emirates as a whole. But what was the spark?
Well, to be honest with you, the first time I came to the UAE, I was 13 years old with my family. At the time, there was nothing. It was still the Chicago Beach Hotel, where now the Burj Al Arab and the Jumeirah Beach Hotel stand. And I really loved the country. It was beautiful. We stayed for 3 weeks. We traveled to Abu Dhabi. We went to Sharjah. And I really loved it. So when I finished university and wanted to sort of rebel a little bit, let's put it that way, because I come from a family and a culture that's also very quite strict. So you're usually not going to live somewhere by yourself. I just said, I just want to do it for a while. So I found a job in a German company here. And I remember telling my dad, I just want to, just for a year, just to, you know, to get some experience in another company other than your own, where we always, the entire family works in my dad's company. Mm-hmm. So this is why, because I really loved the place and I wanted to experience it a little bit more.
Well, I know that it's different from a person to another. I mean, the reasons and the motives to come over here. So what was yours, Mr. Joseph?
Well, it's an interesting story. So me and my wife actually came here in 2012 for our honeymoon. So at the time, I was trying to figure out where we were going to go for our honeymoon. You know, we'd go to the standard places of like Jamaica or somewhere in Mexico, but I wanted to go somewhere different. And I had a client of mine tell me, we should go to Dubai. And I was like, what's a Dubai? What's that? So he said, just Google it. And so after I Googled it, it was an easy decision. And so when we came here, we just absolutely loved it. I mean, it was just amazing to us. We just loved everything about it.
So your honeymoon was here in Dubai?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where did you stay?
Atlantis Resort.
Atlantis Resort.
Yeah, so we went to the one in the Bahamas, so we decided, we definitely have to stay the one in Dubai. So we were here for a week, and we just absolutely loved it. And I thought of the idea of, like, maybe we should move here. You know, and so 4 years after that, we decided to actually pack up everything. We had our firstborn. He was 2 years old at the time, and we now have 3 children that were born here. So in total, 4 children here. And this is home now for us. So, yeah.
Cool. Interesting. So what about you?
Well, for me, it was slightly different because I'm originally from Ireland, but went to Liverpool John Moores University, and then I was actually a teacher when I moved over here first. And I get a phone call one day because I used to work with children with emotional and behavioural difficulties. And I get a phone call one day and said, listen, we know of one of our sister schools in Abu Dhabi in the UAE that is looking for, you know, a teacher that kind of matches your, you know, experience and description. And we think that you're best off to apply for it.
Were you married at that time?
No. So I went, oh, well, you know, I might, you know, throw in an application. So I threw in the application, and I think within 48 hours I'd been hired for the position. And I remember getting on, so I left. So I finished the school, you know, a couple of weeks passed, and I finished the school on the Friday, and then obviously then flew over to the UAE, and I was really, really tired because I had my suitcases, didn't know anything about Abu Dhabi or Dubai or the UAE. It's just like, right, get on the flight, change your life forever, go. And so I remember landing, and it was, you know, quite late on a Saturday night, you know, that kind of 8 o'clock sort of Etihad one, and they picked me up from the airport, brought me to the hotel, and went, oh, fantastic, I can just relax all day on a Sunday. And then as soon as the driver was obviously leaving, he went, oh yeah, by the way, you're in school tomorrow. And I went, what? Yeah, you're in school tomorrow. Yes, the week's obviously, you know, as it used to be, from Sunday to Thursday. So I went to bed, slept for 2 hours, walked straight into the school, into the staff room. I was obviously like, you know, like a deer in headlights, as we say. Walked straight into the staff room. There was an Arabic member of staff standing straight in front of me and said, oh, hi, how are you doing? I'm Will. And I went to shake her hand, and then she obviously, you know, she couldn't, and she put her hand up, and I went, oh, this is going to be different. This is going to be fun. You know, fasten your seatbelts, and away we go. And, you know, from that moment, never look back. Yeah.
And what nationalities were your students at that time?
The students back then, they were, as a percentage, probably 30% Emirati, about 40% of different Arab nationality, and then probably about 30% Western expat.
Who was the hardest to deal with?
Who's the hardest to deal with? I mean, what you have to look at is you need to look at, you know, it's quite difficult to say which was the hardest to deal with, because they've all present the different challenges and, you know, different behaviours. But it's about, you know, being dynamic enough to match your teaching, you know, strategies to adapt to, you know, get the best out of all children, you know, because some children, you know, they weren't necessarily got to speak in English, and other ones, and there's a little bit of a culture clash with different things, and I had to adapt quite quickly to that, which obviously being thrown in at the deep end, it was either sink or swim. So alhamdulillah, I swam.
So how long you've been here now?
In October, so in a couple of months' time, it will be coming up to 15 years.
15 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, a long time.
What about you, Mr. Joseph? How long?
9 years.
9 years.
Yeah.
Vicky?
18. I beat them all.
18. Yeah, you sure did. Yeah. Okay. Do you ever feel like your sense of identity has changed ever since you've been here?
Not my identity in that sense, but I've changed as a person. First of all, of course, you grow, and as you grow older, things change. You rethink your position. It's different when you're 20, and it's different when you're 30, and so things change. But definitely the culture, having 3 children now, everything has the identity does change. Not the core of it, but you adopt things that you love. Mm-hmm. And that's a good thing. That's why we grow as human beings, adopting the good stuff, taking from other cultures things that you admire, that you think are that you could live well with. Yeah, definitely.
But Mr. Joseph, I had a friend of mine. She's American. She used to work with us, and she told me, like, when I told my family that I want to move to Dubai to work over there, they said, no, don't go there. It's Middle East. They hate Americans over there. You don't go there. And she said, I insisted, and I came over here. And then she said, after a year of being here, I brought everybody here. And they were amazed to see me, that I live in a safe environment, and nobody even tried to do anything bad to me. So in that sense, what was your experience? Did you have any thoughts before you came over here, or somebody give you an advice, don't go there?
We definitely received a lot of pushback from moving here from a few family members and relatives, but we had already been over here, so we already knew what Dubai had to offer and everything else.
No, but it's different visiting, and then deciding to live in a place. I mean, you can visit dangerous places, and it's okay, but you can't say, like, I'm gonna go to this place and live there if everybody else thinks that it's a bad place. And as you said, the pushback, always those people who push back, who think like it's bad to go there. It's Middle East, after all. It's Middle East. A lot of people think like that. And everybody who comes over here then say, like, no, it's different from Middle East.
Yeah, and that's just all it has to do with exposure. Being exposed to know about it, or know somebody that's been there or has lived there in some type of way, capacity or form. Because there is a misconception in different parts of America that, even today, where the Middle East is looked as bad as even the UAE itself, even though UAE may be one of the top trending countries in the world, there is that misconception is still there. So it's really about exposure and being and knowing what's really out there versus going off of what a stranger on TV may tell you. So, yeah.
All right. What about himself? Any pushbacks? You were single anyway.
Well, I was single, and back then, I'm going to be honest. Like I did, I had earrings in, as a young fella just fresh out of university. But my mum was a little bit worried, because I've actually got like a full arm tattoo, which is of obviously the Christian hands praying and rosary beads. So my mum and my granddad were obviously very, very concerned of, is that, will that be allowed to, be on show, or do you have to have it covered all the time? And, obviously that's not the case. Obviously when I'm, out or especially doing any work with the federal government or the Abu Dhabi government, then obviously it's completely, covered. But, day to day, it's, everything is accepted here, and it's, it's amazing.
It is amazing. So, what's one thing you've learned from another culture while you live here? Another culture rather than the Arab culture.
Well, it's the first time I had a lot of. I met a lot of people also from Asia. Like moms from the school from Korea and Japan. I had not had friends, to be honest, before that. So they're very different to, I would say, the Arabs and the Greeks. I'm from Greece, so the Mediterranean people are very warm and they're very, the values are the same. And then the Korean people I've met and the Japanese they have a very different culture towards like being late or things like that, like being very respectful of other people's time, something we are not in Greece. So things like that I picked up from them and I really loved. I was like, that's very, very different. The way they think about friendship, family, those discussions that you have in school while you're waiting for your kids that are really, really eye-opening. And that's something that I love here, raising my kids, because they get exposed to so many different cultures that they're just being educated by that alone. They're being exposed literally to almost every country in the world. Like in our school, we have so many kids from so many different cultures that they learn so many things that we didn't have. Although I grew up in Germany and I was also exposed to quite a few nationalities, it's very different over here.
Do you think that's healthy for your kids, Sir Joseph?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it goes back to exposure. You know, for my children, they've been exposed to, you know, as most of our children have been exposed to various people from all over the world. And I think just having that exposure enhances them and enhances their growth and their capacity and their potential to, you know, become and be whatever they want to be, especially in a place like the UAE where it's super safe and it's a great place, you know, to be ambitious and thrive. So being here, I've met tons of people from all over the world. In my work, I've met pretty much from probably over 100 countries. And just meeting all these different people, I think one of the most amazing things about it is the storytelling, the stories that you may hear from other people, the things that you know, knowing that many people from different parts of the world gives you a sense of knowledge that you just can't get even if you're just based regionally into a certain area of the world. But to be around and to speak with people on a constant basis from diverse areas of the world, the storytelling is amazing. Yeah.
Did your kids pick up any other languages?
Yes, Arabic and French.
Arabic and French.
Yes.
Right. Mr. Walker,
yeah.
Do you have any friends from different cultures?
Do I have
real friends, like, you know, like you consider them friends?
I'm an entrepreneur, so my friends list has gone down since all I do most days is work. But yeah, I mean, we've got, you know, I've got a lot of, you know, different friends of, you know, different nationalities over here, and it's just, you know, the UAE, you know, I'm going to speak now about obviously, you know, the leadership and everything like that, is because, you know, like every single national day of a different country, the leadership of the UAE, you know, publicly, you know, congratulate them on the national day. You know, on the side of the ADNOC building in Abu Dhabi, they have all the different flags. On the side of the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, they've got all the different flags. You know, obviously the UAE is incredibly tolerant of different religions. I mean, if you look at the Pope came to Abu Dhabi a couple of years ago, and we obviously have the Abrahamic family house on Sanya Island in Abu Dhabi as well. So it's about, you know, I really think that the UAE embraces not just culture, you know, different people's culture, but different people's religions, and is incredibly, you know, accepting of everybody and welcomes everybody individually. You know, and it doesn't matter sort of, you know, where you're from, as everybody, you know, gets treated the same, and everybody has, you know, the job to do, to play their part in society, to work together, you know, for the future and the benefit of the community.
Well, a lot of people in UAE, they say that when you meet a person the first time in UAE, you ask one question. Let me try to test you guys. What do you think the question will be? When you meet a person.
Yeah, where are you from? Yeah.
Where are you from? Everybody's asking, where are you from?
Yeah.
And because we are from here, so we didn't even realize that. I mean, since we dress up like this, nobody will ask you where you're from.
Yeah.
But whenever you see somebody else, it's real. Like, you know, where are you from?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk serious now. Let me give you, let me ask you to see how serious you are taking this place and living over here. Which one of you speaks Arabic or try to speak Arabic?
شوي يعني.
I try. I can hold a small conversation, for sure.
What about you, Aliki?
I do.
You do speak Arabic?
I mean, it's not perfect,
Yeah.
but it's good.
Okay. So do you think Arabic is very difficult or it's super difficult?
I mean, I tried when I first came over here. I tried and I did. Now I'm not.
When did you give up?
When did I give up? I gave up quite quickly. When I realised that when you had to obviously formulate the letters, but then depending on what the letters did change the look of the word, I went, listen, this isn't for me. I'm not languaging. I thought, you know what, I'll contribute to society in other ways, but learning, another language is not for me. I wasn't any good at French, German, or Irish in school either. They were the lowest grades that I got. So I thought, you know what, I'll use my talents in other areas.
But can you hear, can you at least figure out what they're talking about, the topic, when two Arab people talk?
Usually yes, but the other way that I do it is I watch body language and I watch the non-verbal communication, so I can pick up some words, but I can read people quite well and so I can usually get the gist of it.
They say that the Arabic is one of the top 5 most difficult languages to learn.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, at least you tried, guys.
Yeah.
But you said that your kids speak Arabic, right?
Yeah, they speak better Arabic than me, yeah.
Well,
definitely.
They learned from their friends?
Learned in school, yeah.
Learn in school. Okay,
Yeah.
school. Okay,
Yeah.
that's very good. Your kids, Ricky?
Well, my kids are Emirati, so they have to speak and they have to learn the language. And I think at some point when they were younger, I could even help them with their homework up until maybe 3rd grade. And I was like, okay, that grammar is getting difficult. I think the grammar is the most difficult part. This is where I also have my difficulty sometimes. And it's a very rich language. It's a very old language. It has words that if you try to, once you understand them and you try to translate them into any other language, it's quite hard because there are very, very specific words for the very specific things. And I find the same in my own language. So Greek is also a very old language and has very rich vocabulary. So, yeah, I always have that with my kids. I'm like, they took that from Greece. So we're always joking around about
But I guess your kids are lucky that they speak Greek and they speak Arabic.
Yes, they do. I mean, I love learning languages. It's a passion of mine. I speak 5 languages myself.
Wow.
And I grew up bilingual. And I think it's very important. And once kids that grow up bilingual or even with 3 languages, they have it's much easier for them to learn an additional language because then it's connected. Words that you hear in Greek are very similar in French, and then from French, Italian and Spanish, and even Portuguese, for instance. So they're connected. Once you learn one language very good, then you hear someone else talking a similar language and you understand much better.
Well, I heard your daughters talking and they speak like purely Emirati, so they have no accent. But what about when they speak Greek? Do they have accent?
Yeah, you can hear
They
that.
do?
Yeah, they do. They speak very well, and I have tried my best to teach them as well how to read and write. To be honest, since Corona, that has because for me it was very important for them first to learn the Arabic very well, and there was not much time for the Greek as well in terms of reading and writing. They will catch up. I don't think it will be difficult later on when they have more time. But when they speak, you can hear that they were not raised in Germany. In Greece. Let's put
So
it
they
that
have an accent.
Yeah. But I think the same is for me that I grew up in Germany, although I had to go to German and Greek school. So I had to do 2 schools at the same time. My school day was from the morning up until 6 every day. And that's what enhanced my Greek language, obviously, because I lived in Greece only for 6 years. I've lived much more in the UAE than I've ever lived in Greece or Germany.
Yeah. What about schools over here, Bez? I mean, the level of education over here. Do you think it's good? It's okay? It's all right? It's just like any other places?
I think it's amazing. I went to school in Germany, and I used to go sometimes with a stomach pain because it was very strict. And I think here, I mean, the school that I have enrolled my kids is an American school. They, you know, they were up until middle school. It's all hugs and cuddles, and, you know, they learn on. Sometimes I used to go in because they would forget a lunchbox and they'd be on the tables, underneath the tables. So I'm like, what kind of learning is that? But they thrive. They're doing a great job.
That's good.
And again, I think what's really, really important is here that they are exposed to a lot of cultures and they learn so much from that alone. Like my daughter's going to come back and say, oh, you know, Mama, we have a new girl and she's from Sweden and there they do this kind of food and can we try it too? And all of these things that make them, you know, what we say very international.
What about you, Sir Joseph? What do you think about the level of schools over here?
Well, I have 3 children going to a private school, to a British school. And we're very pleased with the school.
Why British school? Why is it not American school?
Well, you know what? It partially was due to COVID, just due to everything that happened with COVID and getting back into a school and slots filling up. But we landed on this British school, and it was actually pretty good. Before that, we had them at Shoifet, and the reason why we did that because we wanted to make sure they had that exposure. Yeah. So when COVID happened, they switched to a British school, and we've been with them for about 3 years now. So yeah.
Do you think if you kids go back to the States, of any one of you kids decided to go back to the States and live over there, do you think it's going to be easy for him?
Yes, yeah, I do. And the reason why is because they aren't necessarily your average Americans. They're international Americans. If you think about myself, I'm a foundational Black American. My children, yes, that's their roots, but they are not necessarily that. They are definitely have that international scope. So I don't think they'll have an issue really living anywhere just due to, again, having that exposure.
What kind of schools are you going to get your kids to?
Well, what my comment on that is not just about, like, the education here, I believe is in line with the best in the world. But one of the things that really stands out for the schools over here, you know, which adds to the enrichment of the curriculum and the CCA program, are the facilities. So in my children's school, they've got an indoor 50-meter swimming pool. They have a brand new high-performance athlete development facility, 400-meter running track, netball courts, football pitches.
But you're talking about private schools, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even
school, yeah.
By the way, even the government schools are like that.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Beautiful.
And they do, and they've got a sailing lake where they learn sailing and boating and stuff. So the facilities over here, I'm just speaking for, you know, about my children, but the facilities over here really add to that enrichment experience, and the children can experience a lot more with the facilities. And it's not just a classroom-based education, it's a holistic education and a holistic experience. And obviously, you know, as part of all of the curriculums, are learning, you know, different things. I mean next year, well, from September, AI is mandatory, you know, in all of, you know, the schools over here. So obviously AI is the future. And what I'm trying to teach my eldest is that he's studying now for jobs that don't even exist. So in 18 years time or whatever, when he's in the, you know, the workforce, he's preparing himself for jobs that don't exist. So, you know, the technology that's in the schools and the advancements and the, you know, the vision of the leadership and where they want the education to be is you know, inspiring, and everybody's on board, and, you know, and all of the different, you know, government entities that go around and inspect schools, you know, they have to go through, you know, fairly, you know, rigorous processes in order to get anywhere up the rankings, you know. So it's I think the education system is one of the, you know, the strongest parts of the country.
How old is your oldest?
He's nearly 7.
Nearly 7.
Nearly 7, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. If we talk about business, I mean, there is different way of conducting business around the world. In every part of the world, there's different way of doing it. And the mindset as well is different. So how do you find setting up a business over here and go on with doing your business over here in UAE? Is it that easy, like the way we hear, the way we read about it, the way people be advertised to them? Like it's really easy to set up a business in UAE and to do business in UAE?
I mean, setting it up isn't necessarily the difficult part, depending also on what kind of business and what your budget is and what you're trying to achieve. What is difficult in the UAE, and that's a good thing because you become competitive and you learn quickly that you need to be offering the very best, is that you have a lot of competition. You have everything in every sector. You have the very best in the UAE, whether this is in F&B or whether this is in any part. I think you have the very best. The UAE attracts a lot of businesses. You have a lot of entrepreneurs. So it's not where you just start and then it's very easy to. No, you have to really give your very best. You have to be educated. You can't just. I don't think UAE is a place where you can fake it till you make it, you know, as they say in some places. I think you really have to be good. You have to be passionate. And when you have that, then I think you're at the best place to start your business.
What are the barriers that you found when you started your business over here?
Pretty much what Christine said is the competition. There's a ton of competition. You have the, maybe the best of the world's talent, trying to come here and coming here and setting up businesses in your niche, in your industry, and selling the same products or services that you're doing. So it's a challenge to challenge, not just a country or a region, but you're talking about a multitude of different people all over. So, but that's as she also said, it's a good thing. It's a very good thing because it just makes you stronger. It makes you to be more passionate and ambitious to make sure you're providing something that is top notch. So,
well, we all know that Arabs are emotional and warm, and they really give a very big deal with the relationships and friendship as well. So a lot of people think that in order to do business in UAE, you should really know a lot of people. So they will help you doing it. I mean, it's a one phone call away. Mohammed speaks with Ahmed, and your business is it's done. What do you think?
Well, for me, I mean, I could talk for 10 hours on business in the UAE. But one of the so I actually did a newspaper article for the Economic Observer, which is the Chinese version of the Wall Street Journal, a couple of weeks ago, and it was and what my advice in there, and what my advice to anybody who wants to do business in the UAE is not to consider yourself as an entity, as that you're on your own and you're going to change the world and look at me and look how good I am. What you need to be doing is you need to look at the vision of the country, you need to look at the vision of the leadership and build your business to be in a vehicle in which to deliver that message within the community. If people do that and they actually, follow the vision of the leadership and they position the business that way, that will make it a lot easier. But one of the the other things, especially about in Abu Dhabi, people always ask me, would you open up businesses in Dubai? And for me, my perception may be wrong, but I like doing business in Abu Dhabi because it's all about networking. You go to the the Majlis. I'm not going to mention whose Majlis is, but you go into the Majlis and you say, listen, we can do this, we can do this. What and you just need to position it and you just need to solve the problem. But with the different rules of and the different business setup ways. Obviously, you've got the TAM app, which is obviously the government app, which has made business setup a lot easier. The Department of Economic Development have severely reduced the fees and the barriers to entry that did used to exist, which obviously helps, young entrepreneurs and young business leaders to get to that entry point, quicker. And the UAE is really pushing towards driving it away from the non-oil sector and driving the Falcon economy to support entrepreneurs. I mean, myself as a young entrepreneur, we actually got selected for the DED's Young SME Champions program. And what that does, one of the things that it does is it connects SMEs with the big entities to try to help them, to give them smaller contracts and try to help them. And if they don't have specific paperwork, help them to get that in order to allow them then to get to that next level. So, the UAE for business is, incredible. I mean,
obviously, networking is very important around the world. Yeah. I mean, wherever you are,
Yeah.
It's not UAE something. It's UAE thing. It's every country thing. Networking is really, really important, but it's not as people picturing it and saying like it's Muhammad calls Ahmed and everything goes done, like it's over. You still have to put work. You still have to do your part of the job, of course, of the business. You still have to do your own networking, advertise your business and everything. So a new line of business. Could you tell us what the challenges that you're facing right now and how do you go around it?
Well, the challenges that I always face, I'm a nutritionist and I believe in back to basics. I believe in a very natural approach. And my challenges are that people are still following 1970s nutritional advice, and we've been conditioned to believe certain things, and it's quite difficult to get people to change that, to give it a try. This is always hard, but what people that really are interested and that will listen properly and will try, those become literally believers, and then it's very easy. But it's always difficult to get through to people sometimes.
But I guess your line of business never dies. I mean, you always have people who comes and knock your door once you advise.
Definitely, and it's really important. To me, this is the most important part. It's something that I believe should be taught in schools. Learning how to cook, learning what you need to eat, learning to nourish your body. This is where everything starts. Because as long as you have your health, you have a million problems. But once you don't have your health, you have only one problem. That's getting your health back. And I believe that 95%, if not more, is all nutrition, is what you eat, is how your lifestyle is. And a lot of people believe that there is a balance between working out and nutrition and all that, but the 80% is what you eat. You can't outrun a bad diet. And unfortunately, especially here in the UAE, that is a little bit difficult. You go to the mall and there are so many amazing things that you want to try. At the same time, it's the most amazing place to have a healthy diet, because even in Germany, you cannot find specialty items as you have in the UAE. I personally follow a ketogenic diet, and this is what I advise most people, a low-carb diet, especially for diabetes type 2, for children that are obese. So the things you find here in the UAE, even in Germany, which is the heart in Europe, and you can't find it. When I go to Germany, I'm packing one bag only with food stuff for my sister who follows the same diet. So,
but I guess the awareness about health now, it's very high, because with all what's going on with the social media, a lot of people talking about how to be healthy and how to do stuff and things. So I guess maybe you will elaborate on that. Before and after, when you came here and now, don't you see that people have changed towards the health, approaching their health?
There is a
diet?
Big difference. The problem is which advice is the right advice. This is the whole problem. And unfortunately, the numbers are going from bad to worse as the years go by, just because our food has changed dramatically the past 50 years. We've changed food completely. So most things that we eat that are processed are just an experiment at the moment. Oh. Most things we don't even have the enzymes to properly digest.
Really?
That's why I always, definitely. I always say go back to basic. A lot of our diseases are autoimmune disorders, are intolerances that start from the gut. And even here, even in Islam, Prophet Muhammad said before that most disease starts from the stomach. It's very, very important to cherish and follow that advice, and make an effort to take your health into your own hands. Afterwards, like going to the doctor, that's after things go the wrong way. The point is to prevent that. And I'm very, very passionate about that. Very cool. I believe that you can... Diabetes type 2 is a choice. It's fully reversible.
Is it?
Nobody has to be diabetic type 2. The people that are diabetic type 1, that's a whole different case. They can't do anything about that. But diabetes type 2 is absolutely a lifestyle choice.
Then, well, it's good that we know you.
Yes, you're very lucky.
So Joseph, what about you? What are the challenges that you face in your line of business?
Well, creating AI-powered platforms, AI itself has, removed a lot of those challenges. And with the UAE, really pushing for AI across the board, it has really impacted my businesses in terms of boosting them and being more productive. The only challenges that I really face here in the UAE is competition, just from the standpoint of building software.
What's the name of your company?
Rain Investments and Media Solutions.
Okay.
So we create software and media solutions, a combination of both, depending on the platform. So one of those things that comes along with it is we take on specific types of companies, specific types of clients. And so that's part of my...
Such as the client?
For example...
government entities?
Government entities, media production companies, film production companies. So we kind of in a different niche, not necessarily just taking on anybody that's looking for any type of app or platform. So that's really where my challenges come into play. But on the flip side of that, AI has really helped us to propel and move forward with not just being more productive, but finding more opportunities throughout the space.
So there is a lot of AI companies in UAE?
Yeah, there are. There's a lot of companies, period. But it depends on, there's just about every company should be using AI to some degree. I mean, so to answer your question, yeah, there are. Because
I thought that all the AI companies are either in China or in the States.
Okay, you're talking about the major big ones.
Yeah.
No, I don't think there's any major big ones here in the Middle East. But in terms of using the AI to propel business, was more so what I was referring to.
Okay, so you provide solutions, AI solutions to...
Yes. So agentic software to help propel people's businesses, but mainly revolving around the media and film industry.
Okay. Yeah. What about you, Mr.?
The challenges of business.
Yeah.
So the biggest challenge for business, or
first of all,
the only,
your line of business. I mean, you have multiple businesses.
Yeah, we've got multiple businesses that fall underneath our new, essentially, holding company called EDN Investments, which are my three children's initials, Eli, Dalton, and Naya. But the one that I'm most sort of famous for in Abu Dhabi is Storm Academy. The name Storm because I lost my job with COVID, and less than 5 years ago, I sat on the end of my bed and I cried because I couldn't afford 82 dirhams to buy a box of baby formula for my 1-year-old when my wife was pregnant.
Was that bad?
Second.
It was that bad?
It was that bad. And when you reach the bottom, the only way is up. And storm is the worst type of weather. And when you're in a storm, only place is out of it. So that was where Storm Academy comes from. And alhamdulillah, we're doing very, very well now. And continuing to push, continuing to grow, and continuing to add different services and different things within our portfolio now, which is very exciting.
Yeah, so you are a survivor.
Yeah. Well, try to be. Huh? Try to be. But it's look, entrepreneurship is not for everyone. It's incredibly tough, but you just gotta. There's a difference, as I said to the young business leaders in the course we were delivering today. There's a difference between motivation and perseverance, and obviously motivation comes and goes, whereas perseverance and consistency, beats it every day. And you just need to be consistent. Just need to persevere, and if you give back to the UAE, it will give back to you.
Before we go to the last question, I remember one of my friends. He says to me, like when he first arrived to UAE, and somebody called him over the phone and speaks with him in English with a different accent. He said, I wouldn't understand what he's talking about. And they say, oh, excuse me, can you speak with me in English? And the person would reply, I do speak with you in English. And he said, but I couldn't figure out what they're talking about because the accent was really different.
Yeah.
And he said, after some time, after spending time over here, whoever calls me, I would say, okay, this guy from this country, this part of the world, this guy from this part of the world. He said, I now, whenever somebody speaks with me in English, I would tell you where he's from. I don't need for him to speak his own language.
Yeah.
Did you reach that level yet?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
So, Aliki, where do you see yourself within 5 years from now? Still here, or you Germany or
No.
States?
Definitely here. My kids are from here, so we'll always be here. And I've started my business here, and although this is still a very small business, in 5 years from now, I see myself here, and I see the way people eat in the UAE very, very different. So I hope everything that I preach and I try so hard will be heard, and people will change.
Let's hope so. What about you, Sayyid?
In 5 years, I do plan to be here. That to me, this is one of the best places to live in the world right now, just due to the safety, the opportunity, and my children. This is all they know. Yes, we're Americans, but my 2-year-old, he's really the only one that lived in America, and that was just for the first 2 years of his life. So this is all he really knows. So this is truly home for us, and we plan to continue to be that way.
Well, at least you have one can be the president of the United States still.
Yes, of course.
He was born there.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I will 100% be here, and obviously, trying to give back to the community and give as many opportunities for people to come and, work within the group of companies that we have, and, do my best for, the people that are underneath me. And, even if I told the kids that we were moving, they wouldn't let me until Disneyland was built in Yas Island anyway. So,
Exactly.
yeah, but no, the UAE is my home, and it is home to me, and yeah, I'm staying, inshallah.
I've watched, I guess Britain have talent, and one Filipino little girl came to the stage, and when they asked her, where are you from? She said, I'm from Abu Dhabi, I'm from UAE. Yeah. I'm Filipino from UAE. So what I want to say is, if you live in a country for long enough, and if you really love the country, which a lot of you guys love it, you always will have that sense of belonging to this country. Thank you very much for coming over here, guys. Really, I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
It was very inspiring conversation, and it's very interesting to see different paths over here. I hope all the best, and I wish all the best for you.
Thank you.
And thank you very much again, and we hope to see you in the next episode. Thank you.